god, that's annoying. Okay, yeah, you said you had the stream up though, right?
I have it up, yeah.
Okay.
So let's see if it actually...
Okay.
Okay,
Should be running now.
live.
Okay. So we are
Yep, I
back
see
live.
you.
Alright. We're back live. So now we're getting into the final section of the stream now. So if you see on screen right now, I have a perk roulette website on. I don't know if you can see it.
Survivor per
Okay, so
configuration, I can't read. In killer per configuration.
Yeah, so we're gonna go through just a few killer perks through this, and then a few survivor perks. And I'm gonna ask you what you think about them. Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay, so we're starting with the killer one. We'll see what we get from this one. So we have I'm All Ears, Rancor, Dragon's Grip, and Trail of Torment. First off, explain to me what each one of these do.
I'm all ears. Essentially, what happens is if the survivor's getting chased by the killer and they vault the window, the killer can essentially see through any walls, whether it's killer shack walls or just any window in general, and they performing a rushing action. And by the way, I'm all ears is actually a very good perk on Pyramid Head.
Really?
For anyone who wants to play Pyramid Head, I'm all ears is actually very good. Because of the fact that he can do his knife attack, where he stabs his knife in the ground, and then he can just, cut off a lot of loops with it.
Yeah.
And it essentially, I'm all ears lets him pretty much see through walls when and hit them with his attack. So anyone who wants to Pyramid Head, I'm all ears is actually a really good perk choice.
So everyone in the chat, please remember that I'm All Ears is a very good perk for Pyramid Head. How would you rate it though, from 1 to 10? How would you rate that perk?
Probably a 6 or 7.
Okay.
Just because of the fact that most times when survivors are getting chased, they're gonna speed vault over windows and pallets. So.
Okay, so 6, 7, right? Rancor, what does that one do?
Rancor, essentially what it does is you become obsessed with one survivor, and throughout the match, when the gen gets popped and the obsession sees the aura of the killer, and that's a big indication, oh god, they have Rancor. And once the gates become powered, you become exposed, and the killer can worry you.
Damn.
Which can be kind of a waste of a perk slot if you think about it, because that's why I don't really use Rancor personally, because all the killer really has to do is just end up killing you early on. If he ends up killing you early on, your Rancor is essentially useless. So, it's not too bad of a perk, but it's not one that I wouldn't run.
So would you rate that lower?
I'd rate it a little bit lower, yeah.
Like what, a 5? 4?
Well, I'd rate it a 5, yeah.
5? So we got a 6, a 5, or a Dragon's Grip. Is that one...
Dragon's Grip?
Yeah, go ahead.
That is a teachable from Blight. That, essentially, if the killer kicks a gen, the next survivor that kicks it, yeah, the survivors can kick gens. If the survivor touches it, I meant to say, if they end up touching the gen, they scream, they become exposed for the max is 60 seconds, I believe. And the killer can end up one-shotting them down. Which is actually very good. I would recommend that to a lot of people who play killer. It's actually a really good perk. So I put that as a 10 because it's really good.
Really?
All of Blight's teachables are actually really good, yeah.
Gotcha. So so good recommendation for everyone trying to get good killer perks. Get Blight, because it looks like with Blight his perks are really good. Like Dragon's Grip itself, he ranked it a 10 out of 10, so you can obviously see what other his other perks are pretty damn good then. So please.
Yeah, so there's Dragon's Grip, there's Undying, and there's Blood Favor.
Oh yeah,
and,
Undying.
those perks are really good.
Yeah, Undying
automatically
used. Yeah, OP as fuck. Everyone hates it. Every survivor man hates it at least.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 out of 10, and then the last one here is Trail of Torment. What does that one do?
Trail of Torment, essentially, if you kick a gen, they actually updated it recently, and they get buffs. So now, how it works is, if the killer kicks the gen, he has no care radius. That's the first thing. The second thing, the generator that he kicks is highlighted in yellow, and he has no tear radius for as long as the gen is regressing for.
Damn.
Which is very good.
That is very good.
So killers like Hillbilly, Pyramid Head,
Hmm.
or any killers that can sneak up on survivors, it's actually really good for. I'd give it a solid 10 because that's actually a really good perk now.
Gotcha. So we got 2 10s and a 6 and a 5. So this perk set probably not the best, but you guys keep an eye out for Dragon's Grip and Trail of Torment on your next build set. So we're gonna do another roulette, see what's the next set of perks we get. So we got
Alrighty.
Bitter Murmur, Dark Devotion, Beast of Prey, and Overwhelming Presence. We'll start with Bitter Murmur.
Bitter Murmur to me is the perk. Do you want me to just tell you what it does? Okay,
Yeah.
so essentially what it does is when the generator gets fixed,
Hmm.
it lights up like on your screen, like on your perk icon, it lights up,
Hmm.
and it shows the auras of survivors for a few seconds. It shows you where they run to. It shows you if they end up hiding or something like that.
Hmm.
I would give it a solid 7 because there are times where it's not really that useful, especially if you're just getting gen rushed.
Hmm.
It's constantly going off. It's like, oh god, we're supposed to go,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Okay, so
So I'd give it a 7.
That's a 7. Don't really use
Yeah.
it because just in case that one. Let me say this right. Don't use it if you know you're gonna get Jun Rush. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, essentially.
Gotcha.
I recommend it I highly recommend it on Huntress because Huntress is a killer that's really bad at tracking, and Bitter Murmur is really good for her. So if anyone who wants to play Huntress, I recommend Bitter Murmur.
Gotcha. Okay, so next one is Dark Devotion.
Essentially, you have one survivor at the obsession. If you M1 them, you have no tear radius for 30 seconds.
Ooh.
Now, and the stream is buffering for some reason. I have no idea why. Let me see if I can fix that real quick.
This is probably my stream lagging a little bit.
No, just go
Hey,
ahead.
he's
I'll
just...
just go ahead and go.
Okay.
Which was mad. But anyways, I'll explain Dark Devotion. The thing with Dark Devotion, I really want to like the perk, but I feel like if you're in a chase, let's say you hit the obsession before you get to a pout loop, your tear radius goes to 0. It's not really going to be that much of a use if the survivor's constantly looking at you and knowing where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Which I've seen many times. Now, I've seen people run Dark Devotion,
Hmm.
but it's not one of the teachables I'd recommend because it's a plague teachable. I wouldn't recommend Dark Devotion. If you want to use it, you can, personally. It's not as good as other perks like Trail of Torment or Tinker. Tinker is another good one.
Yeah, Tinker's a really good one. Tinker's a really
So
good perk for any new killers trying to get some good perks.
So I'd recommend, if I were to rate this from scale 1 to 10, I'd put it at maybe a 5, 6 maybe.
Damn, not that good. I mean, I've seen some good plays of Dark Devotion, but I guess it's just not as good as I thought. All right, next perk, Beast of Prey.
Beast of Prey, essentially, it just lets you gain. I think it's either it lets you gain Bloodlust or it punishes the survivors who are going down to the basement to get the chest. I would not recommend this perk at all. This is a Huntress teachable, and Huntress's teachables aren't really good. The only teachable from Huntress that I'd really recommend is Huntress's Lullaby.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, if you don't have Undying, it's just gonna get cleansed.
Hmm. Gotcha. So that's
Like it's gonna
very
get
low.
cleansed right then and there.
That's a very low
Yeah.
rating then. Gotcha. Yeah,
And then
it sounds like it doesn't make sense. Just Beast of Prey, just see auras of people when they go on sex dungeon.
The basement.
Yeah,
It's like, okay.
like I can see that anyways. Basically, you know, it's like Bill's perk, the one where like if he's last alive, he can see the aura. Of the
Oh
hatch.
no! Left Behind. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is such a useless perk.
It's seriously fucking useless. And like it's kind of telling you to be an asshole and leave your survivor teammates to die.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you're on hook. I'm gonna go for the hatch.
Mm-hmm. All right, last one. Overwhelming Presence.
Essentially, with this perk, which is actually really good with distressing, this perk allows any items that you have, if they're in if the survivors are in the killer's area radius, the items are gonna get drained. They go through them really quickly.
Oh.
Which is actually really it sounds good, but it's just a little bit outclassed by perks like Franklin's Demise. And
Makes
the reason
sense.
why I say this is because of this. Why would I want them to drain through the item when I can whack the item out of their hand with an M1 attack?
Yeah, honestly, like, is there nothing else it does? It only just drains their item more. That's all.
Yeah, if they try to use their item and they're in your tear radius, it just they through it really quickly.
Then yeah, that's kind of bad. Yeah, like literally, there's way better perk. It's like how when people look at second win compared to adrenaline,
Oh yeah.
because it's like that's how people compare it as. But I mean, at least a second win, you get some kind of advantage because you know you just wait 30 seconds, you're healed back. But then why bring that if you just bring adrenaline and you'll be good after 5 gens? It's
Yeah.
kind of the same thing. But yeah, like I see what you mean there. So where would you put it at then? Like 4, 3?
I'd put it halfway, about a 5, because if you really just want to troll the survivors and not use Franklin's, you could always use distressing and an overwhelming presence.
Gotcha.
It increases your tear radius. That's what distressing does.
Gotcha. All right, so now we'll stop there for the perk section. We're gonna go to now the patch notes section. Okay.
Okay.
So right here, so you already know that there's a new patch coming in soon, right?
Yeah, I think for animations and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and the clown update,
Yeah, I'm
the Slicer
gonna
Strike update.
I'm gonna go through a little bit with you right now, just to get your opinion on it. Okay.
Alrighty.
So first off, we got the clown buff. What do you think that the clown deserves this buff, and why?
I think he deserves the buff, yes. And the reason why I believe he deserves the buff is just because of the fact that most chases as clown are freaking exhausting. Like, I've played clown at high ranks, and it is very frustrating. Like, unless you have good perks and good add-ons, you're probably going to lose 90% of the time, because nowadays with clown, like before, because, you know, I play on console and you play on PC, so you've probably experienced, you know, the clown buff yourself.
Yeah.
With clown right now, for me, this is essentially how chases work with clown. You have bottles, you throw them at the survivor, they get slowed down. 10 times out of 10, they go towards the pallet.
Hmm.
And my controller batteries are low.
Again,
but I'm gonna
dying.
finish this. Yeah, and if they, and I've even told my friend this, one of my friends this, if they made his bottles like Doctor's shock therapy, where when Doctor he keeps shocking you, he cancels your action to, like, you know, throw down pallets and vault windows.
Mhm.
Clown would probably be a much better killer. But because of that, he just has the same struggles. Now, I've seen some gameplay of the new Clown rework, and I feel like it's the same, you know, thing. I know he gets like I think he gets like a bit of a what's it called? Movement speed boost? That's what it's called. When he throws his bottles.
Yeah.
But even then, it's not really much to work with, because he still has to kick pallet after pallet after pallet. Because survivors can just loop him for days. Yeah, it's just really frustrating.
Yeah, gotcha. So yes and why? Understand. So now we're gonna go. I'm gonna skip the wraith because it's not really too much of a difference. It's just he can be more invisible now. So I mean, everyone thinks that's a hooray. You know, they're making him more immersed, basically.
Let me fix something real quick. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. God, this is what everybody in the chat. This is what I'm seriously excited here. Second win right here. Fucking from 30 seconds to 20 seconds. I can't wait for that. Definitely gonna be using that perk a lot more. Let's see. Alright, made it. It can be very difficult to follow up him survive with 50 seconds exile, increasing the duration. Wow. So I can
Sorry,
already.
my controller wanted to be annoying.
No
Yeah, I'm
worries.
back. Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna skip the wraith thing because of that. We're gonna go to perk changes. First thing, what I'm gonna read out exactly what they're changing with Hex because I don't know what they're doing exactly with it. So, what it's saying is transferring the same Hex multiple times can add hand Hex meant out of spread. Since tokens aren't transferred when a Hex changes totems, Undying was unpopular perks other than Ruin. I have an aura event too. Anytime a Hex totem is cleansed, it will replace the Hex Undying totem. Undying is then deactivated. So, So this undying deactivates after it gets transferred once? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, I suppose. So let me put this full screen so I can try and read the text.
Yeah, anytime a hex totem is cleansed, it will replace the hex undying totem, and then hex undying is then deactivated.
Wow.
So it will not do the infinite transfers this time. What do you think about that?
I mean, I personally. Here's the thing. I've only used Undying maybe a couple times. Because you'll notice the streams that you actually watched before, like, this interview,
Yeah.
you'll notice every single perk loadout that I used did not include Undying. I'm not one of those people that relies on Undying and Ruin half the time. I've only used Undying like maybe once or twice because I wanted to see how broken it was. And I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty broken to use Undying with, let's say, Huntress's Lullaby or because by the time because they're gonna have so much trouble cleansing the totem, and by the time they cleanse it, like everyone's dead. It's like, okay, well, there's no point because your team's dead. Yeah, but I think nowadays, I kind of saw it coming. I personally don't think they should change it. Now I'm gonna sound entitled right now, so be prepared. I think that the devs need to start looking at some of the perks that survivors actually have instead of killer perks. Because the fact that they're actually nerfing all the things Killer has to actually take down the survivors, it's like we can obviously tell which side you favor the most. I mean, you nerf Ruin first of all, and then you nerf Pop, and then you're just like, oh, but Unbreakable's okay, and so is Lithe, and so like really, like do you not see how frustrating and infuriating a killer like me has to deal with every time they play Killer? It's like, oh god, they're gonna vault the window and get a boost of speed. Oh, there they go. They're gonna sprint burst. Like it's just really infuriating. So yeah, I personally don't think they should change it, but they're the ones who run the game, and we can't do anything except bitch and complain about it.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Okay, so I won't keep you any too much longer. We'll finish the patch notes there now, and this is gonna be the last part, which is my favorite part. So this is where, like, I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Don't feel judged or don't feel weirded out by these questions, okay? Okay, so first question of mine, alright?
Alright.
Do you feel that Dead by Daylight encourages people to learn how to be a serial killer in real life?
No, I do not.
Don't. Okay. Next. Do you ever have the desire to kill people because of this game?
No. I've gotten really pissed off at it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go to the extent of that.
So you've never had a match where you've gotten so mad that you wanted to kill someone?
I mean, I've gotten so mad at the point where I wanted to smash my controller.
But no murder.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Do you think that this game can teach people how to kill others in real life?
Not really, because this game, like, think about it this way. I'm pretty sure, like, murders in real life do not revolve around, oh, kicking pallets, putting people on hooks.
Yeah.
Like, I assume it wouldn't go that route.
Yeah, but you wouldn't think they would look at the perks and then they're gonna be like, well, I should probably listen in more when I break into someone's house, just in case they're hiding in the corner.
No. I'm just gonna sit here and hide with my urbanization, or going to where Pop goes the wheel.
Exactly. Okay, so you don't think this game ever gives anyone the urge to kill someone ever?
It might, depending on the person's mental state. But I would say if the person's like mental state isn't that great, I don't recommend you play Dead by Daylight, because it will royally piss you off, guaranteed. It's pissed me off many times, but not to that extent.
Gotcha. Cool.
So.
Awesome. Well, you're actually one of the first guys that like I ask these questions and completely chill with. I think the last all of them when I ask them the questions, they're like like they just feel a little awkward out when it's like I just want to know, as a killer main, do you ever feel like killing anyone? Like that's all I want to know, because you know sometimes I need to know just in case we need to keep an eye on you guys or not. You know.
This is true.
Okay, now there is a question that I did say at the beginning of the stream that I was gonna ask you now.
Okay.
And that my answer is probably gonna piss off a few people. Which group is more toxic, killer group or survivor group?
I mean, come on. Survivors. Now, I will say this. I'll specify in this answer. I will admit, and I will be honest, I do play toxic as a killer, but I play toxic for a few reasons. If you annoy me to the point where like your chases are really long, I'm just like, oh my god, can you go down already? Then I start to shake my head and I start to be annoying, you know, that type of thing. But really, I only play toxic if the survivor provokes me. Like, if you decide to throw that pallet down, you click that flashlight and teabag me, oh yeah, don't expect me to be nice. Like, I know people are just like, oh, you're no better than they are, but let's be real. It's funny when they actually go out of their way to message you. It's annoying, but it's actually kind of funny, because it's like, dude, you decided to provoke me, accept your consequences, and move on.
Yeah, and you're true in that regard. Like, I don't, like, if you're gonna go out of your way to be toxic, you just have to accept the loss. You're gonna have to accept the death if they kill you. Like, you really have to accept that. Like, there's no reason you should be that mad to where you need to message them. Especially, it's just a match. It's just a game, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's, the fact that the community is this toxic is actually pretty ridiculous. It's like, dude, the killer is doing his job.
Yeah.
You can do... There's, like, so many ways to punish him for doing that. Like, with the camping and tunneling, it's like, just do gens and leave.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this right now on stream that I do completely agree with you. Like, the survivors are way more toxic. Survivors are the most toxic out of both groups. Like, seriously, I've met more chill killers than chill survivors, and it sucks because like I have a whole community that you see on the Discord. This whole community of all these nice people that like willing to play with me and the gang, willing to just have some fun with us. I was thankful enough to meet these nice survivors, but there are plenty of doo-doo heads that I do not want to associate myself with at all that are survivor mains.
No, the one... I think I had this recently. This actually happened last year. I had this David that actually was pretty good at 360s. And he had the nerve to come on my messages, and it was just, no wonder you're a level 1, you tunnel and camp. I was like, I didn't respond to him because I don't waste my time with people like that. I sat there, I was just like, no, the reason why I'm rank 1 is because, first of all, I know how to deal with assholes like you. Second of all, because I actually know how to play the game.
Yeah.
Like, if I was truly tunneling, you probably would have escaped. Either escaped or you would be the only one to die. That's how I shut them down. That's my logic to shut them down. It's like, okay, I camped you. Why didn't your teammates just do the gens and leave?
Yeah.
It's really not that difficult.
It's not. It's really not. And it's just, it sucks because you, like, a lot of survivor mains, they believe they're the good guys, but then when you are the
It's like, oh, the survivors are, anything the survivor does is good, anything the killer does is wrong. Like, and I'm gonna say this bluntly, just kindly fuck off. Like, just leave the killer alone.
Yeah.
Kindly go away.
And like, it makes me, like, it bones me out that like a lot of, there are really good, nice people in the survivor main group that like I want to meet one day, but there's so many bad apples around here that just get mad at either the killer for using their perks efficiently, or getting mad at survivor mains because they escaped and they're the ones who died. Like, honestly, it bums me out that there's survivor mains that legit come into this game, get pissed at everyone, and play the blame game at everyone, but never accept the responsibility that, hey, this game absolutely requires you to put in not only time, but actual effort in learning the full game. Like, you have to learn the map awareness, you have to learn what perks synergize, you have to learn what...
And then, you know, with killers, and the best thing for killers is know your killer's strengths and weaknesses. And I actually see that you have one of my streams pulled up that you see me playing as Wraith. Notice, I brought in perks that are really good on Wraith.
Yeah.
Brutal Strength, because he's really bad at loops. Save the best for last, because he has nothing really else helping him his base kit. And then the Corrupt, because he lacks the map pressure. and then Pop Goes the Weasel.
Yeah.
I mean, it boils down to killers. If you're gonna main killer, you have to really know what perks are good for your killer, and what perks you can really substitute and still help you out. Like I've played like a good example of this is I played as Doctor earlier today, and I use barbecue. Keep in mind, the perk loadout that I ran for him was Thrilling Tremors, Unnerving Presence, Discordance, and Pop Goes the Weasel. I didn't use Save the Best for Last. I didn't use Barbecue and Chili, and I 4K'd. Like, if you know the killer benefits from perks that are substitutes, just use them. I mean,
it's just seriously, guys. People are just gonna play the game the best that they can play. If the killer's gonna use perks that make him more efficient as a killer, he's gonna do that. If you're gonna use perks that are more efficient and keeping you alive, you do it. It's simple as that. Don't get mad just because someone did what anyone else would do. Like, you would do obviously the same thing. Otherwise, you wouldn't be mad that your crutch perks didn't work.
yeah, which is what I can't stand.
Yeah. All right, I'm going off on a rant. I shouldn't have ended the stream like that. I'm just going off on.
Oh no, that's fine. I've done a rant about it a bunch of times. And oh yeah, and another thing. Now I've played Survivor a bunch too. I don't really like Survivor too much, but I've played it. The thing with me when I play Survivor is I don't go out of the way to harass like killers and stuff.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times I die as a survivor, it's because I either get tunneled, it's my fault, or my teammates are just really, really bad.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times it's because the randoms are pretty frustrating because, let's be real, solo queuing and having, let's say, only one friend there with you is actually pretty infuriating. Not saying they're the bad teammate, but at the time when I play, it's just frustrating. Like, because 9 out of 10 times you get put on the hook once, don't even think about getting off the hook again. Because you 9 out of 10 times will probably die. So, that's just my experience. You've probably had better experiences than me.
Yeah.
So.
Like, I've been, like, thankfully, I have been blessed to where when I stream, I get way more, like, good reactions on matches than off stream. Like, I remember on stream, I legit had a match where me and two Claudettes were just, like, playing musical chairs on a gen. We just kept switching sides with each other. So
Okay, that's funny.
yeah, like all three of us just switching around. Like, I need to download that stream and make that clip, but it was so funny. I just get blessed with stuff like that because there are good apples on here, but until we can fix the bad ones who keep talking shit just because they died, we're gonna have a tough time in this game.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that is the end of the interview today, guys. Let me just mute myself real quick, Beardlife, so you don't hear me do my outro, but give me just a quick second, okay?
Okay.
Let me just click this. Or would it work or not? Oh my god. If it won't even do it. I don't even think my, oh my god. I don't even think my Xbox apps is working properly. Okay.
That's the app for you.
Yeah, so I guess you can just hear me in the outro. Just don't pay any attention to me. Everybody in the stream, thank you guys so much for stopping by on the 4th episode of Cheeks Chamber. I had a lot of fun. I hope Beardlife had a lot of fun. I hope. Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. It was really good.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you
I
so
liked
much.
it.
Thank you so much, Beardlife, for helping me out on this interview. Thank you so much for just being my next guest. I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no problem, dude.
Thank you. And everyone else on stream, I will catch you guys on the next one. Hopefully tomorrow I can get an early stream before the Super Bowl. But until then, you guys have yourselves a wonderful night. I have been your host, Three Cheeks Harrington. This has been the Three Cheeks